Hey everyone, welcome back to Dan's Chess Lounge. Today we have game number 6 of the FIDE Chess Championship. So today Ding is white and Jan has the black side. Let's see if Ding could recover from that crushing defeat in game number 5. So today Ding starts off with d4, knight f6, Jan plays d5, and we have bishop f4, which is the London system. Now, at first, that kind of, makes you wonder what's going on here. But can you really side-eye the London system anymore? I don't think you can. I think Magnus Carlsen has proved that the London system is a good, solid, incredible opening that can be played in championship-level chess. The gripe against it is that it doesn't really test Black out of the opening, and Black is allowed to just develop his pieces as he wants. So you have c5. This is a good break move here. Black can go ahead and get his pieces out. You have e3. The knight comes out, and you have knight bd2. The main line here is c3, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing knight bd2 right here. C captures d, e captures, and Jan puts the bishop on f5. This is a really good spot for the bishop because it takes away this diagonal, or it doesn't take it away, but it puts the bishop on this diagonal where White's light square bishop would like to come. So if White's light square bishop goes there, it's going to have to go there and be potentially traded off. So now you have c3, e6. Ding sticks his bishop on b5 here, pinning the knight. Jan offers a trade of the dark square bishops. Ding accepts. Queen d6. Castles, castles. And if we just take a minute to assess the position here, you have both sides castling their pieces. Both sides has their pieces developed and out. So we're ending that opening phase of the game. I would say that both players are probably pleased with how things have gone so far. Let's see how things will unfold in the middle game. You have rook e1. And you have h6 here. Black is creating luft for his bishop in case White might play knight h5. Ding hops into the center of the board, knight e5. What's interesting to note here is that it looks like the knight can't be captured because the pawn would fort the queen and the knight here. But I think the knight can be captured here. Let's go ahead and check it out. Let's say, for example, if the knight captures, knight, pawn captures, forking the queen and knight. But then you have this move here, queen b6, right? Pawn captures, but then queen captures bishop, f takes g, king takes, and at the end of this variation here, yes, White is slightly better because Black's king side is exposed, but then maybe Black could use this semi-open file here to be more dynamic like Jan did in one of the previous games. So White is slightly better, but this is playable, and so I wanted to show that to you guys. So, but instead, Jan plays knight e7 here. Ding goes for some queenside expansion, puts the question to the bishop, and the bishop retreats back to f1, which is common in these type of positions. Knight goes to d7. Knights come off the board, a5. More queenside expansion. It's very clear what Ding wants to do. He wants to push his pawns on the queen side. Queen c7. And now Ding gets his queen into the action. His queen is alive. Rook c8. So this looks like Jan is loading up on this c file here, right? Because he wants to prevent Ding from being able to play b4 and expand on the queen side here. So this is kind of like a deterrent, this battery that he's building on the c file. Rook A3. Clearly, Ding wants to try to protect this C3 pawn with the rook and with the queen. That way he can make that B4 push. Bishop drops back to G6. This is kind of like a waiting move because Jan really doesn't have any counterplay. He's just waiting for Ding to launch on the queen side. So Jan is kind of just waiting around right now. Knight B3. And the knights are coming into the game. Now Ding offers a queen trade here. Jan declines it. H4. Now, I really like this move, H4. It shows that Ding is very active in this game. He's playing on the queen side, he's playing in the middle, and he's also playing on the king side. So he's playing the whole entire board here. This is a good move from Ding. Rook E8. And now the knight hops in to C5. And Jan breaks in the center of the board. Is this a good move or a bad move? I guess time will see. Usually when black can get their break move in, it's good. It's like a freeing move where they have more activity and their position can be freed up, I guess. But is this going to create more weaknesses? I guess we'll have to see. You have rook b3. Now you have the knight and you have the rook hitting the b pawn here. Knight captures and it attacks the rook. And this is a beautiful move here. Rook captures e5. So it hits the queen. So Nepo's knight can't just snap off the rook here. He has to do something about his queen being attacked. The queen moves. And now the rook moves out of harm's way. Right? Knight comes into a nice square attacking the b2 pawn and it's attacking the rook here. So Ding decides to just snap it off the board. And now you have h5. Look at this beautiful kingside expansion here. Bishop goes to c2. And right here, Nepo had some decisions to make. Instead of playing bishop to c2, he could have played rook captures on e5, right? And if he would have done that, queen captures, and now he captures the pawn on h5, and the knight captures. And here you have equal chances. You have 5 pawns versus 5 pawns. Both sides are playing an active game here, and Nepo has the bishop going into the end game here. So this is a dead even game. Who knows what could transpire? But instead of playing this way, Nepo decides to play bishop to c2. And this allows Ding to snap off the pawn here on b7, right? Queen goes to b6. It looks like the knight might not have that many squares to go to, and the queen is also hitting the pawn on b2, and that could be a word of hurt. The pawn's attacked, the knight's attacked. What can Ding do here? Well, Ding finds this resourceful move here, knight to d6, and it looks like the knight just can be captured, right? But really, he can't. Let's see what would happen if he captured the knight. If he played queen captures knight, then you have rook takes rook, check. And then the queen is going to be captured and lost. The queen falls, so he can't do that. So instead, he plays rook captures rook, queen captures rook, and then Jan does capture the pawn on b2. And so he's able to get his material back. This restores the material balance in the position. The rook gets out of harm's way, goes to a5. The king moves over to h7. Let's see what would happen if the king did not play, king h7. What is the threat here then? Well, let's say queen captures on c3, right? But then you would have knight e8. That's threatening checkmate here. So then the rook would have to capture. And now white is just winning. He's up in exchange. The king is under attack. This would not be a winning position for black. So instead he plays king h7 here. Rook goes over to c5. You have two attackers on the c4 pawn. Check. King goes to h2. Now you have f6 because Ding had to make a decision on whether to save his f7 pawn that was under attack or his c4 pawn. He decides to save the f pawn. And I just want to take a moment here to say, to me, this game here is just as exciting as any other game where both sides have equal chances to win. The London system gets a bad rap, I think. You can play the London system and the game will be just as exciting as any other game. So let's continue with the game here. Ding decides to play queen g3 here. And Jan says, well, what do I have? What is my counterplay? And of course, it's this monster pawn here on the a5 square that's passed. So he's going to push his pawn. Aaron Nimzovich told us all, passed pawns are to be pushed. So then Ding does capture the c pawn, and Jan pushes. Now you have knight e3 here. This attacks the bishop, but it's a dual purpose move. It also prevents the black queen from being able to get back to the king side to help out. Can't go there right now anyway because of the rook there, but he's still blocked out from being able to help. Bishop retreats back. He doesn't want his bishop to be captured. And now you have rook c7. And this is where you would really like to get your queen back over to the king side. Ding's starting to put a lot of pressure on Jan's position. Jan has to make the best moves every single time. Now you have rook g8. That's preventing checkmate, of course. Knight d5. This is also more tactical tricks here. He would love to play knight captures f6 check. King moves out of the threat. Rook a7. And Ding still has to be careful of this passed pawn here. It can be easily queened here. It's only got 3 more squares to go. a3. Now it only has 2 squares to go. So Ding has to keep an eye on that passed pawn. Okay, so now Ding plays knight to e7. This attacks the rook here. So then Nepo plays rook f8. And we've reached a critical moment in the game here. If you would like, you can pause the video and see what you would play opposed to what Ding plays. You might play the same thing. That would be great. That would be brilliant if you do. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. Here, Ding plays d5. And this, at the glance, this seems like not a very powerful move, right? But it just goes to show the fact that Ding is playing on all sides of the board. He's playing on the king side. He's playing in the middle. He's protecting the queen side with the rook. He's playing all over the board. And this does lead to a winning position, right? But there's other moves that he could play as well. If you came up with the idea of playing rook to b7, bravo to you. This was the engine's first suggestion. This was the easiest and most clearest way to win. The bishop going to b7, is just beautiful because now you have the queen and the rook eyeing this square here, and the king doesn't have that much space to go to. For example, let's just say now black plays a2, trying to promote, right? Get his queen. Then you would play rook to b8. The rook captures, queen captures, and now you have checkmate here. Okay, another variation is, if we go back, let's say instead of black pushing a2, let's say he tries to block with queen g5 here, right? And trade off the queens. Then you have queen trade, and now the rook snaps off the bishop, and this would just be too much here for Jan Nepomniachtchi to handle. He would have to deal with both of these connected pass pawns, the C and D pawns, and the pawn here, his pawn on a3, is easily stopped. So that's the most clearest way to victory there, by playing rook b7. But instead, Ding played d5 here in the game, which is okay too. Let's see how Ding handled this position. So then Jan goes to a2. He's trying to promote. Queen goes to c7. They're eyeing that g7 square. King goes to h7. And now the knight traps the king in like a glove. He plays knight to g6 here. This is a beautiful mating net that Ding has set up here. Nepo is just literally trapped. So now you have the rook going back to g8 because he has to protect the g7 checkmate square here. And now you have queen to f7. And this is where Nepo said, enough is enough. I resign. Now you may be wondering, why did he resign right here? Well, he's threatening checkmate on the g7 square. So the rook has to keep an eye over that. But it can easily just be captured. For example, let's go ahead and take a look at some stuff here. For example, let's just say Nepo promotes, right? He says, you can't capture me on g7 right now. I'll go ahead and promote, right? You have rook captures queen. Now you have the rook protecting the bishop there, hoping that now his black queen can get off of the back rank and get back into the action, right? But then you have the same setup all over again, right? Ding just goes right back to rook a7, eyeing this checkmate square on g7. Rook goes back to protect. Now he just captures the rook. Check. And it doesn't matter where the king goes. The king could go to f7 there, or the king could have went to h7, and it would be the same thing there. Checkmate. So, going back again, let's see what happens if, say, for example, if the bishop captured here, right? If it captured the knight, then you would have h takes g. King goes back, and again, queen captures the rook. Checkmate. All right, this was a fantastic game by Ding. He definitely bounced back strongly again. We're all tied up in the match, 3-3, going into game number 7. Tomorrow is a rest day, so there won't be a video tomorrow. This has turned into a great match. It's an exciting match. I would much rather prefer these type of matches than the boring draw fest matches. So credit to both of these guys for playing inspired chess. Shout out to the London system. Go London system. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time.